Hey, good morning. So it's day 7 of our trip. Essentially, the last full day of sightseeing on our trip. The next 2 days we'll mostly be traveling, and then, of course, some amount of sightseeing. Our plan for today is to visit a temple on top of a hill. I think it's called Kek Lok Si Temple, and then from there we come back to Little India. There's another Chinese temple there. Have a look around, and then finish our lunch from one of the restaurants there. And then in the evening, the original plan was to visit the Gurney Paragon Mall, which is, one of the biggest malls here in Penang. But since our first day before yesterday, got rained out the evening. Although we did get to walk around India Town Little India a little bit yesterday, last night. I mean, most of the shops were closed. But yes, so we will try and do that. Because other than that, there are a lot of places of historical importance, a lot of architectural, landmarks. And there are a few fun things to do, like, the upside down house, the largest food sort of museum sort of thing. But those are not things that neither we would enjoy nor Ayan would enjoy, right? We decided to give that a skip. Other than that, I'm not sure if I'm really missing anything here in Penang, but of course there are a few other things that we needed to do. So my main reason for visiting Little India and the Armenian Street, which is right next to it, is to catch those paintings and graffiti art on the walls. Even when you do a Google search for Georgetown, those are the first images that show up, right? So that's something that I wanted to see before I leave from here. But hopefully, like it has been in the last 2 days, it doesn't start pouring in the evening, because if that's the case, then today evening is going to get washed out as well. Well, let's see. Fingers crossed. Turns out, like always, I was quick to judge. So the lift ride up was actually worth it, because it was not just that one lift ride. There was also a buggy ride up to the third station, and from there was another lift that came all the way up. And as you can see, this is pretty high, so climbing all this way up would have been quite a challenge. And as you can see, it's really, really hot. The sun is beating down. But that said, we still hope we can take the stairs down, because there's a lot to see along the way as well. And I think there are smaller temples on the way as well. So hopefully we should be able to cover all of this on our way down. Let's see. Hey, so we are back here in KL. I couldn't record an intro this morning because I thought we had a lot of time, but then it was a mad rush towards the end. The train from Butterworth to KL Central was at about 1 o'clock. So we thought we had a lot of time. We'll check out at 11 and quickly find a cab and reach maybe by 12:15, 12:30, and then that would give us another 30 minutes or so, right? I mean, more than enough time to board the train. And they close the gates 5 minutes before the train departs. Unfortunately, today happened to be the first day of some festival in Penang, because of which there was a maddening traffic, the kinds that you would see in a Bangalore or a Mumbai. Grab rates sort of flew through the roof, right? I mean, they became 3x. I wasted about 5 minutes, 10 minutes trying to see if the cab fare would come down. It didn't. Then by the time I booked, the first driver was showing 12 minutes, and he was about to drop somebody else and go further ahead and then come back all the way, pick us up, and then go back. Right, so that didn't work. So I had to cancel the cab and then book another one, and that again took another 11 minutes. So towards the end, it was like a nail-biting finish. We reached the station at about 12:50, 51, which left us another 10 minutes. Thankfully, we were able to board the train in time, and the train departs exactly on time, right? It left at 1:05, which was its scheduled departure time. So, but we thoroughly enjoyed Penang, even though we didn't do much, but just roaming around the streets, the taking in the sights, the culture, the vibe. Compared to KL, which is a much bigger city, it's more, I would say, cleaner, more peaceful, more structured. KL is like any metropolitan city. I mean, it's always buzzing. There's so many people, so many things happening all around, right? In Penang, I think there are fewer Indian origin people, Tamilians, and more Chinese and Malay folks. I mean, Malay, of course, being the majority. We really liked our time at Penang. We reached KL at about 5 o'clock. We are staying at the Doubletree by Hilton. It's just for one night, because the reason I chose this was because it's right next to the Petronas Tower, the downtown area. I mean, the Wyndham Suites where we were staying before was also nearby. This is slightly more prime area. The hotel room is nothing much to talk about. It's actually quite small. It's inside a mall called the Intermark Mall. The staff here is friendly, but the rooms could do with some upkeep. Let me quickly show you. So as soon as you enter, there's a small corridor. The bathroom is just on the right. It's a very tiny bathroom, but it's relatively clean. Some of the things, the faucets and stuff like that, seem slightly older, but I think they've managed to keep the bathroom clean. That's good. Then there is a wardrobe here. They have bathrobes. They have a safe in here, and then they have an ironing board and an iron as well. There's a luggage storage space here, and like I said, the room is quite small. It's a double bedroom. You have some plug points here. There is a TV with few channels, and then there's work desk. There are a couple of chairs. There's this huge light and this large painting in the background, and the view is also not too bad either. In fact, we got a room with a pool view. I mean, if you can call it that, because you will have to sort of stretch a little bit to actually see the pool. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good view. Straight ahead, you can see the Intercontinental Hotel, right? So it's a good area. It's a buzzing area. Right now, we are going back to Chinatown because the first day we were there, we couldn't do a lot of shopping. We couldn't really explore it as much as we'd have loved to. So that's something that we thought we'll do today. And then tomorrow we check out of the hotel at 12, but our flight leaves only at 9. So that means we'll have to reach the airport by maybe 6. So there's 4 hours or 6 hours to kill in between, right? So we thought, we still haven't figured out what we want to do, but we thought we'll store our luggage at the hotel and then try and do some sightseeing. Of course, there's no time to rest in between, but we might as well use that time. And then around 4 o'clock, pick up our luggage from the hotel and then head to the airport. Yeah, so that's it. That's the plan. Hope you enjoy what's left of this video. Hey, so not really sure if the voice is going to be audible, but we have checked out of the hotel. We have stored our luggage in the storage room in the hotel, and we have 4 hours to kill before we actually get back to the hotel, take our bags, and then go to the airport. So we are walking around aimlessly, going back to the Suria mall where we have the Petronas stars. So the rest of the video is going to be us walking around, taking in some more of the sights of KL City as much as we can. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I don't think there's going to be any more talking that I'm going to be doing in the rest of this video. And see you in the next one.